Well, hey, kindergarten, let's talk about your specific math expressions materials and manipulatives that you probably received in your kit. Now, there's a few differences of the kits that you might want to be aware of. One is there is a custom manipulative kit. This is generally the kit that most districts buy because it has the specific manipulatives that just math expressions uses that are unique to math expressions. And it doesn't involve all the extra generic manipulatives that might come in other math kits. Now, there is a full manipulative kit that includes all of them, place value blocks, all of the other types of manipulatives, play money, things like that, that you might find. That's a full kit. So if you get tubs and tubs and tubs and tubs, that might be the kit that you get. Otherwise, you probably got the custom manipulative kit. If your materials came in individual bags, then that is an individual student kit, and that also is different from the custom manipulative kit. It has all of the individual student materials in one place, but there are some nuances between the individual kit and the custom kit. Now, there is, in addition, a teacher modeling kit. Now, the teacher modeling kit is usually also purchased in addition with the custom manipulative kit because it has all of the tools that are meant for the teacher. So that's your posters, it's your daily routine materials, all of your demonstration cards are all going to be in that particular kit. So I'm going to give you a link where you'll be able to click and find a list of what specific kits include what materials and how many of them you're going to find so that you can discover if you have the right materials, what materials you really did get, if you have the right number of materials, so on and so forth. So let's take a look really quickly at this screen where I'm going to show you the materials that you should have regardless of the kit you have. These are the basic ones that you'll find. So you're going to see up here on the left-hand side, you're going to find the link to manipulative lists. This is going to show you the list of custom manipulatives, individual, teacher modeling kit. It's just going to give you the list of them by grade level. Now, at the time of this recording, it would be up until the 2018 manipulative copyright. So that means after that 2018 copyright, the material list may change as it did change publishers as well. They've gone from Harcourt to Heinemann. So there may be some changes after that 2018 copyright to your manipulative kit. But at least this will tell you the amount of materials, so on and so forth. Now, take a look at those 2D and 3D shapes. Now, you're going to notice this is different than most of your tangram sets or other materials you're going to get from other math kits. And that is that they include, you can see like halves of circles, quarter circles, you're going to see right triangles, you're going to see lateral triangles. That is uncommon for most shape kits. And that is because the right triangle is really the crux of all shape composition. And so it's a really important shape that students begin manipulating and having experience with. You're also going to see the 3D shapes down below, where it comes with a bunch of extra materials where they can put cubes together to make larger cubes, so on and so forth. But what you need to know is that they actually come in sets of 10. So there's only 10 for your whole class. So there's 10 3D sets and there's 10 2D sets. So on the days that you're going to be doing this, you're either going to do it in small groups or you're going to want to go borrow kits from either first kindergarten or first grade or second grade teachers who also have the same shape kits. So underneath that, you're going to see right over here the sticky demonstration board. Now, the sticky demonstration board is something that you can say set on a tabletop, like a guided math table. You can see it's pictured here. It's like a little easel. It comes packaged flat though in your teacher modeling kit. And often teachers have no idea what it is. They just think it's a kind of a piece of cardboard with plastic on it. The plastic is actually a film that is covering the sticky piece. And there are pages of sticky boards that you're going to want to peel one of the plastic pages off so you can stick materials to it. And then you don't want to peel the plastic all the way off, just fold it behind because it's so sticky that it attracts all the lint, all the dirt, all the dust. So I peel it back while I use it in a group, and then I peel it back to keep it safe and fresh. And then I use about one page of those a year because you have several pages within that one board. So you can see that that's the intention of this here so that you can model with your manipulatives. You get that sticky demonstration board. Now for posters, you're going to get the number parade poster, and this is time poster. It's actually the 120 poster. We'll change that right now. The 120 poster is used every single day. It should be up in your room, modeled. Even if you're using digital tools, you're going to want the 120 poster. It is like having an alphabet chart up for kinders. It's the same thing for the 120 poster for numbers. We never take it down, even if we're using digital assets during those daily routines. You also will have for posters the number parade, the 120 poster, and then up here you have the teen number poster. That'll come into play around unit 2 and 3. We start to use it in our daily routines and our quick practices. Even before we introduce teen numbers, we start to use that poster. So all of those posters, number parade, 120, and the teen number poster, need to be used at eye level of students. So have it in a place where a student leader could use a pointer and be able to point all the places of it. It just needs to be at eye level for those kindergarten students. To the right of this poster, you're going to see the 10 bug paper puppet and the puzzle penguin puppet. Both of these puppets come at the end of your teacher's edition in the poster section. They are meant to be torn out, laminated, and then they put them on like a ruler or a popsicle stick, and we make little hand puppets out of it. Now, on my website, empowerlearngrow.com, you can go to resources, log in, then go to math expressions resources. And I do have Blackline Masters of both of these that you can print in color and in larger versions, just in case the posters from the back of your teacher's guide have been removed or used by a previous teacher. But these are the characters, if you will, in math expressions throughout kindergarten. They're introduced at various times. Puzzle Penguin is used in every single unit and throughout math expressions. Okay, so no matter which grade you're in, Puzzle Penguin is there. He does start in kindergarten. The 10 bug doesn't come until a little bit later in your units, and then he is a beloved character that you'll want to use as well. So you can prep those now. I like to make two colored copies, do them back to back, and then kind of sandwich them into like a ruler or a popsicle stick. You can see that I have one of my puzzle penguins here. This is the old puzzle penguin. What you see on my screen is the newer version of him, and I have him on my stick right here. So after that, you have the giant number cards. Okay, so these giant yellow number cards are what their name is. They're giant. Okay, so they look like this. They have a digit on the front. They have the dots on the back. Students also get a small set of these numbers 1 to 10. There's individual card sets that your students will have. You will use this almost every single day as you do your daily routines and quick practices. You should have numbers 1 through 10. As you get to number 9, you get all the dots in the back. And then when you get to number 10, all of a sudden there's a 10 frame, but then we get into 20, 30, and you get the decade numbers to 100, and there's no longer dots on the back. So what I do is I like to peel and stick like the garage sale stickers or do a Sharpie, and I make my own 10 sticks on the back of those decade cards because it's still a representation of quantity. So that's one of the things that I like to do. Now, you might choose to put them on a key ring or just like you would a secret code card. If you scroll up in the material management book, you'll see some visuals of that. Keep them straight, but most teachers just keep them on a chalkboard ledge or in a pocket chart. Now you have a couple of mats that students are going to use. So you can see here that you have these base 10 blocks, which you have green foam. I know they're foam. Sorry about that. On with base 10 blocks at 10 sticks and 1 centimeter cubes. And that is used here, you can see on these 1 to 20 boards. So one side is 1 to 10. The other side is the teen numbers 11 through 20. And you will build numbers throughout unit 2 and beyond on these boards using our number tiles, which you can see that I'm circling here on the right. And then you'll grow into these base 10 blocks. So these are laminated already. There are student sets. So just keep them somewhere safe. I want to keep them in student desks because you'll need those. Now you'll see here you have your purple number tiles. This is probably the most important manipulative you use in kindergarten. Again, they are foam. It's numbers 1 through 10. I'm showing you the front and the back side here. This is your version of the secret code cards. It has a number on the front and it has the quantity drawing on the back. And students will use these tiles the entire year to build numbers before they're ready to start writing expressions and writing equations. These tiles will be it. In addition to those foam tiles, you have green symbol tiles, the plus, minus, equal, and not equal sign. And then you have other foam square tiles. You have the 5 group strip. It's 5 of the individual tiles glued together. You have a blue and a red one for students. And then you have individual blue and red square tiles that have a circle on one side. And that is so that when students put, them side by side, they can differentiate, because oftentimes when they're touching, sometimes students have a hard time telling how many are there. So they can count those eyes, if you will, on the tiles, and that will help them in identifying quantity. So these tiles are used again with these ones all throughout the year. You can see that we oftentimes store them down here on white manipulative trays. So you're given a class set of these trays. Watch out for them. They come in their own box, and oftentimes they're delivered to the cafeteria because that's exactly what they look like. They look like lunch trays. So that's where students will have their own tray of their own manipulatives. It becomes very handy in showing materials under the document camera, having students share materials, carrying them from the desk to the floor, so on and so forth. So on this tray, you'll see that there's a couple of plastic containers that this particular teacher has used to keep track of those manipulatives. Really, your purple tiles have to be kept separate from everything else because you want them to easily be able to find all of their numbers. Oftentimes, teachers will put those in baggies, as you can see here, with their name, and then they have their other tiles in there as well. Some people use like a pencil box situation. Some people just put it on trays and stack them. But whatever you do, you only want what's on the tray that is needed for that particular unit. Now, I don't count out specific things. When it says students need 3, red tiles, I don't put out 3. I just give them a handful because that's part of that inquiry learning process of how many is 3. But if you only give them 3, there's not much learning that happens there. So you can see here, though, at the beginning of every unit, it's going to tell you what you need, materials that you're going to need for that tray or within that lesson. It will for sure tell you. So these tiles then are also grow. So if you notice here, this is a 10 paper strip and you have a 5 group strip. Now, the 5 group strip, you have a foam manipulative for, so you don't necessarily need those paper tiles. But when you look here at the 10 strip, this is going to mimic the flip chart that you're going to have in your room that also looks, let me give you an example. It looks like this, but it has blue dots instead of money. Okay, that's going to be a part of your daily routine and quick practice. And it is something that grows into these 10 strips that is going to be used in first grade and second grade and beyond. It's 2 5 groups. It's vertical on purpose. It mimics the 120 poster, which is also vertical. And then the back side of the strip has a 10 on it. Now, these are not real manipulatives. They are paper. They're found in the teacher resource book. They're found in the student activity book. I like to paste them back to back on a piece of cardstock, and then I laminate them. So I do several on one side, several on the other. I run it through a laminator, and then I cut those strips because I want to be able to use them for many, many years, and I store them in individual baskets. I don't want to have to create these every single year. Is there a way around it? Not really. So you could use, yes, 2 5 groups. Of course you could, but there's something about that subatizing into a 10 group that we're starting to help kindergartners understand later in the year. So these strips really are used. They really are necessary, but they're not a specific manipulative as far as a kit goes. You will want to pre-make these and have them ready as you get into teen numbers and unit 3. So in addition to that, you have comparing mats. Now, these are also in your teacher resource book. It's also in the student activity book. It's comparison mat A and it's comparison mat B. The only difference is that they are one's horizontal and one is vertical. You need both. And again, I put these on cardstock. I laminate them. You can see here in these kindergarten pictures that this teacher did the same thing, copied it on yellow paper. And now they just get this little plastic strip that they use when they get to comparison activities. You can see this teacher is doing the same thing. That one happens to be on blue, but you're going to use those over and over again. Again, it's not a specific manipulative that is in your kit, but it is in your books and they will use it regularly throughout the year. So I would also prep those particular materials. You can see that the squares are the exact same size as your square tiles. That's on purpose. There's room for your purple tiles to go on them. All of these tools work together. You have teen number match cards and teen equation match cards. These are both found in the student activity books later in the year, unit 4 and beyond. They are also in their teacher resource book, but students can cut them up or you could just prep them ahead of time. Okay, so have them again laminated, maybe copy them on cardstock, and kids will play matching games as well as use these tiles on the 120 board activities. So you will want these to be somewhat durable. You can see in this picture, we have a sweet kinder friend who likes to use them in this way, like all of these little white pieces of paper you can see. She just kind of like tosses them onto the table and kids just grab a card. They have to build it. They use the place value blocks, so on and so forth. So for her place value block, she doesn't keep them in bags or in individual kits at all. She just keeps them in community tubs and literally like dumps them on the table. It's so much easier for kids just to grab them all, put them back in the tub than it is for her to have individual, kits for each kid. You do whatever you want. I like to have like a tub of 10 sticks, a tub of centimeter cubes. I like to have a tub of red tiles, a tub of blue tiles, a tub of 5 group tiles, and then students grab from the middle of the table for the pieces they need. Cleanup is so much easier than this particular student that is like, I don't have enough blue, or where's my red? Okay, I don't like that drama. So I just don't do it that way. I just keep them in community tubs. And the only thing I do in individual containers are their symbols, their green symbols, plus, minus, equal, not equal, and then their purple tiles. That's me. You do you, but you'll see that there's several different examples here so that you can follow the lead if you'd like to. The last but not least tool you'll see here is Anno's counting book. It is a big book. It should come in your kits. It is used again throughout the school year. It is used heavily in Unit 1, but it is brought back as students work in the upper numbers 6 through 10, and they learn to do conceptual subitizing versus perceptual subitizing, and they learn about counting and cardinality. So this book will also come back frequently during your school year. So this should give you an at a glance look at most of the materials you're given. Of course, you might have red and yellow counters. You might have counting bears. Other manipulatives you're used to using, by all means, continue to use them sporadically during the units, but you really want to base most of your work on these specific math tools as they are building. You can see that these individual tiles build to the 5 group. The individual tiles build to the 10 group. They're used in comparison bars. They really are used frequently, and then they grow into the first grade, what we call stair steps. So you don't want to always use other tools. There's a reason why there's only 2 colors. There's a reason why there's square inch tiles. There is a rhyme and a reason for most of this work. All right, my friends, good luck as you get started in organizing and using your math expressions manipulatives.